Good morning. It's Friday, March 27th, and we're still in the coronavirus quarantine situation here in Pennsylvania, and indeed, it looks like all around the world. Uh, Watching TV or getting on social media, it's pretty obvious that a lot of people have literally had their world shaken. That includes all the earthquakes that seem to be happening at the moment and the upheaval in people's lives when they can't go to work, when they can't go anywhere because they're stuck in their house, when they can't get near people because of social distancing. They can't even get to church in some cases. And people are scared, concerned, and that's to be expected. I have a suggestion for you, especially if you're Catholic. Go to St. Joseph. God has a way of getting people's attention, and sometimes he shakes their whole world to get their attention. And according to one of the stories from the early church, that's precisely what he did with St. Joseph. Now, if you watched the first video I made about St. Joseph, Mary, Jesus fleeing from Herod, this video takes us to what happens after they leave the company of the bandits. Joseph and Mary are heading to the Egyptian city of Heliopolis. And at the time, Heliopolis was a major worship center. There were statues and stelae of all the Egyptian gods. And that was the area where Joseph and Mary were heading to. They weren't sure where they were supposed to live. Joseph was hoping for a sign from God, and he got it. And he got it in a big way. The earth shook. As they passed near Heliopolis, the ground quaked. And the idols to the Egyptian gods came crashing to the ground. Now, initially, this worried Joseph. Joseph and Mary kind of had an idea that because they had Jesus in their presence, that these statues to these false gods were tumbling to the ground as a sign of the power of God. But Joseph was worried that it would draw attention, and not with good results. And indeed it did. The high priest of the city of Heliopolis came searching for the reason as to why all the idols were crashing to the ground. And he found Mary and Joseph and the child Jesus. His intent initially was to take revenge. But again, just as what happened with Dismas when he saw the child in Mary's arms, this time the high priest, his heart melted. And more than that, he understood. He dropped to the ground on his knees, as did all of the people in his company, the lower priests, his attendants. And he said to Joseph, "If the gods of Egypt must bow to the ground in worship of the child, so must I." The high priest offered Joseph a house to live in. The story goes Joseph turned him down and found another place. And the story goes on that Joseph used some of the money that was given to him, the gold, by the Magi, to take care of his family. So God sent a sign to Joseph. He shook the ground. He shook the whole world as far as the Egyptians were concerned. Is your world being shaken right now? If so, go to Joseph. Ask him for guidance. Remember, Jesus was obedient to Joseph. Joseph was the head of the Holy Family. He was responsible for its care, for its safety. He knows what it's like to be a husband and a father. So, he knows and understands the cares of families. Go to Joseph. If you like this video, please hit like below. Maybe even hit subscribe. I hope to put out one of these at least once a week. And if you want to learn more about St. Joseph, check out my book, The Diaries of Joseph and Mary. Have a great day, and may peace reign in your family and in your heart.